Hey everyone, I'm a bit late to do this, but I wanted to finish off the list from yesterday, which is 5 more tips of when you're starting your own business. My number one tip is actually about relationships. A lot of my tips will be around mental health and just the business side of things, the everyday kind of lifestyle components, because I think this is what a lot of people don't talk about. Just as much as the business side is important, it's really important about your own sustainability as a business and your own mental health and just massive lifestyle changes that you'll be making in your journey. So, the number one thing on relationships, this is tip number 6, by the way. So, on relationships, if you're already dating, then don't worry about it, it's great. Please make sure that they are supporting you, that they're a good soundboard for you. Don't make everything you talk to them about be just business, but make sure that you have their support as you're going on your journey. But my specific advice for relationships is try not to date so much. For me, I found that dating was a way to, I guess, get away from my business, and I didn't know how to just be on my own and not be thinking about the business. So dating was a sort of getaway, and it was really not a good idea because I feel like my standards became just anyone else who had a business because they understood things about my experiences that people in my life didn't, and my standard for who I was dating kind of went down, and it wasn't productive at all in the long run. I don't think would have been people I would have dated otherwise. So I just want you to be really aware of the people that you let in your life during that time, especially when you're transitioning into full-time work or having your own business, and there are a lot of those ups and downs. Where the ups are quite temporary and the downs can feel like forever. Your standards and who you are and how the people you let into your life are really important, and you don't want to skimp out on that. You don't want to just like change your values too much, which may happen in relationships. I just want you to really consider that if you're going into this new starting your own business type of full-time journey. So my seventh bit of advice is don't listen to so many people, right? So when I first started, I did a lot of my sales and my social media presence and my personal brand on LinkedIn. And with LinkedIn, you meet a lot of amazing, amazing people. I met so many mentors. I also had, my own business coach to really help me through the process. But what I found after a while was maybe in, a month or two, I would have spoken to like 50 or 100 people. Like, it was just a lot of different opinions and different perspectives, and these were all people who were majorly successful. Like, they had $1 million companies, they had built their business and were doing really well after 20, 30, 40 years. But what you need to remember as a business owner is that your business is your business, right? Your business is not anybody else's. And even though they might have a perspective and you might really respect someone and think very highly of their opinion, that at the end of the day, you need to make that decision that's best for your business, because you know everything that's going on, right? You know where the finances are coming, you know what you're spending money on, even if it's like $5.99 for his signature digital document signing subscription. Like, there are just too many parts of your business that your mentor won't know. You might have a mentor that you go to for the financial side. You might go to have a mentor that you go to for working with clients. And like, just basically, when all of this happens, when you're talking to so many different people, it's the same as not talking to anyone. It's the same as being in the same spot, because you're not actually progressing on any one thing. You're just it's the same as not listening to anyone, because like, it's your brain just getting distracted. And that kind of feeds into tip number 8, which is shiny object syndrome, which a lot of you may or may not have heard of. But shiny object syndrome is when a new trend comes along, or a new social media, for example TikTok at the moment, and it just changes your whole focus, right? If you really enjoy doing YouTube, then just like focus on YouTube. If you really enjoy doing like other social medias, I have a lot of clients who work on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and if those are your primary avenues, then focus on those and don't get too distracted by the new shiny thing. Like, there are so many software development apps and new startups and new companies coming up with websites and with animation and with like all sorts of different things that you can do, but you need to think about what is the risk there, what is the sacrifice that's actually happening if you decide to take something else up and you leave something, you know, only 20 or 30% done. If you had just spent another week on that and you were able to finish that, how much better would you be? How much better off would you be maybe 1 or 2 or 3 months down the track? So definitely think about, what are you sacrificing? What is the risk of going to make this other decision, and make sure that you're on top of your game and that you know what's happening within your business. Because at the end of the day, going back to tip 7, is you're the one who knows what is going on, and nobody else does. Even if someone's like, yeah, this is definitely going to be the way for you to succeed and the way for you to build your grow your business forward. I've definitely been guilty of that. So it's like, don't 100% believe in what everyone else tells you, even if you really respect them, even if you're paying them a whole ton of money, even if they're an investor. Like, you need to take the time to really journal and write and know yourself. I would say this is tip number 9, is really know yourself, so that you can stand up to any kind of outside influence and external kind of circumstance, right? No matter what happens, you need to remember that your business is yours, your business is your baby, and you're the one who knows like where you're actually going to be able to take it. If someone tells you to do something and you know that that's not going to be something that you'll even stick to for a week or a month, then there's really probably no point in starting that avenue at all. So my last tip is really, 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 really being clear on what content you're consuming. Okay? I kind of didn't notice this that much, and I saw it like happen, and I was like, yeah, it's all good, it's fine, like, you know, I'm different, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think everyone likes to think that they are special, but I think a lot of these rules apply to a lot of different people. And it's a good thing. It means that we're all going through this together. You know, there's a lot of benefits in not being the only person. So it's not meant to be a bad thing there. But my last tip is, make sure you know the type of content that you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. If you're consuming kind of business podcasts, if you're consuming other people's content, I think once you get into a really niche area or a specific industry of that business, you'll realize that, you know, there's a lot of really shitty people, like sketchy, dodgy people, and then there's a lot of really good people. And I don't know why, but it's very easy to kind of start seeing more and more of like what people are doing wrong, and then it's intriguing to a sense, because you're like, oh wow, you know, like, how are they doing so badly? And it kind of, I don't know if it's like an ego trip, but you're like, wow, at least I'm not doing as bad as them or something. And like, you kind of just like go down these little rabbit holes. So like, making sure that that doesn't happen on the regular, and it's okay to see what's out there and what the competition's like, but really making sure that, okay, you might be following like 5 top people. If it's business, you know, maybe it's like business podcasts, like if you like Gary Vee, or like in the coaching space, I really love Ruby Lee. I love Jade Dharmawangsa on YouTube, like for marketing strategy. So like, these are just some people that I follow, and I've recently been really getting into Shark Tank, and I think that's like great, and just like a bit of politics here and there. But I think like just being really clear on the specific areas that you are interested in, and not going overkill on, you know, all the different types of people that you can listen to. And everyone these days is an expert. Everyone these days is putting out a new webinar, or a new, you know, coaching program, or like a course or a conference, or, you know, whatever it is. Just like, make sure that you know what you're consuming. And if you don't like what you're consuming especially on social media, when, you know, you're going through your social media, when you're taking a break or something, and you realize that it's not giving you fuel, or you're not feeling happy about it, then like, actually sit down and take some extra steps to change your newsfeed. Like, these days I'm really happy with my Facebook newsfeed, but I remember before when it was just like what, like magic shows, or like just things that didn't really like appeal to me. And like, you need to change the algorithm with your Facebook. Like, sit down for like 10 minutes and like think about the people that you want to be listening to, talk to your friends about who is good to listen to, like in that space, and like them, do the see first function on Facebook, watch more videos that are relevant, and really make it a intentional decision to scroll past the content that is not useful to you, and like make it a much more intentional kind of part of your business, because everything that you consume and everything that you take in is going to affect the type of business person you are. And that's so important, because at the end of the day, right, your business is you, so you need to give yourself the right education and the right tools and the right resources, and listen to the right people so that you can get your business to as far as it can go. So those are my part 2 of my 5 out of the 10 tips, and I really hope it helped. I just love making these videos, and I hope that you guys can benefit from it as well, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace, guys.